Relative Race Interview at RootsTech 2020 with Dan J. Debenham, co-creator, executive director, and host, Rebecca Dalton and husband Kyler, unit production manager and season 3 winner, and Tristan Tolman, lead genealogist.
What was the idea behind it?
So we were asked by BYU TV almost 6 years ago to come up with a television show that would help demonstrate or showcase what could happen if you were searching for family using DNA. Because Ancestry had come to BYU TV and said, we're launching a new division called Ancestry DNA. We might be interested in helping sponsor a show that could showcase what could happen. And I said, would you like a 30-minute or a 60-minute? They said, a 60-minute. What's your budget? They gave us their budget. We came back 2 weeks later and we said, look, we have this idea called the relative race. They immediately said, can you drop the word the? I said, sure. And they said, better for social media. Oh, okay. So it's been relative race ever since, and they've been big supporters ever since, and we're now getting ready to film season 7. So there are very few television shows that go into 7 seasons. And so we're very fortunate that the network seems to like the show. We're very fortunate and appreciate that fans keep growing. And we hope that we continue to do the show for years to come.
Can you speak to the casting process?
So it's pretty hard to find really good people on camera that have really good story, that we can actually find everybody, get them all signed up, and get them in a location that we can drive to them every day. That's a really difficult process. That's why we have so many options. We have backups to backups to backups to backups, because we have our top 4, then we have our second 4, then we have our third 4, then we have our fourth 4 for every season.
When you first talk to a family member, a lot of times they're in shock. They're surprised that we were able to find them. They may or may not even know that they have this relative out there, and those phone calls are very they're very special to be a part of. But helping them understand and kind of work through that process of, do I want to meet this person? Do I want to acknowledge that this person exists? Do I want to do this on national television? It's really, it's a process that takes a lot of time for people to think through. And so I think it's important for us as a team, as we talk to them, that we build a relationship of trust with them, that they know that we have their best interests in mind, and that we want it to be a beautiful experience for them just as much as we want it to be a beautiful experience for the team that we're researching. We want everybody to be happy, and we want it to be a positive reunion. And I feel like a lot of times, just because we develop these relationships with these relatives, even if they were not sure how they felt about it at first, a lot of times they become really, really excited as the process continues. The more they get to know us, and the more they get to trust us and realize that this is really, it's a beautiful addition to their family, and they get really excited about that.
Have you run into anybody who didn't want to meet your family?
It just happened to a team that we wanted for this season. We wanted really badly. And Tristan quickly found a brother and a father, and the producer started working with them. And the brother said, I'll talk with my dad about this, but I think this is going to probably work. And the next thing we got, about 10 days later, was an email with a CC that they made clear was their attorney that said, don't ever contact us again. So it happens sometimes, and we just move on to the next couple, the next team that wants to be a part of this and wants to meet the family as badly as the team that we put together wants to meet family.
How vital are the challenges?
Very good question. They are incredibly important, and you talked about how it's kind of a multi-generational show. The younger kids live, we see it through social media, live for the challenges, live for them being in the cars with, they don't even know what maps are, but there's something called maps. My mom and dad, what are those? They seem to be messing up. Whereas then it moves more towards the more mature adult that loves that family emotional part. So the challenges are really important, and we take it that way. Rebecca can tell you, she's there every day. The challenges are so important. It is amazing how much time we spend on those challenges.
Has there ever been a time where maybe contestants really couldn't finish the challenge?
The answer to that is yes. And we actually show that. Again, we show it where, if you remember Michael and Dylan, Michael one time was outside of a couple things. He just says, I don't understand this. He goes, there's no reason, just stop. And we showed it. Why? Because if they give up, they have an allotted, and we'll show them sitting against a wall, sitting there just waiting, because our point is, once you go over a certain amount of the challenge time, then we go, boom, you've used up all your time, get back in the car and race to your family, because we've got to get them to their family. But that does not happen very often, and I hope Michael doesn't mind me saying that, but Michael knows it was on the show where he's just like, I don't get this at all. I do not understand this. I'm done. So that happens occasionally.
How do you prepare yourself emotionally for that knocking on the door and
Great
receiving the meeting a relative?
I think the first time I was getting ready to knock on the door, I thought, no matter who opens that door, I'm just going to remind myself to live in the moment, to soak up every bit of it, whether it ends up being not so great or wonderful, and don't take any moment for granted. Live every second of it, because I'm going to want to remember everything. And I try not to spend too much time thinking who was behind that door, because I didn't want to get emotionally invested thinking, maybe this is my long lost sister I was hoping to meet, and then it's not, and then you have a letdown, but that steals from the moment with an aunt or cousin. So I tried not to think who was there, but to remind myself that no matter what it is, they're family, and that's what's going to be the most important part. So live in every moment of it.
What did you learn from the other contestants? Both.
The biggest thing I took away from it with meeting the other contestants is I used to think that my story and my journey was unique and I was alone, but I'm not. And all the other teams prove that. And as I've met people going through now, being in the relative race world and meeting so many people here, everyone has a story. And the biggest thing I learned was that's where we're kind of all united. We all have a story, we all have something unique to share, and through Tristan's research, everybody has something incredible to share. And that, I think, is what I've learned the most, is I'm not alone. I can share my story, others can relate to it, and we can find ways to either overcome or go around or share in the joys. And that, I think, is very uniting as a human race and for anybody, because everyone's got family and everyone has a journey in them.
The question is, have we heard personal stories from fans of Impact? I'll tell you that just as we were walking in here, and this happens constantly, just as we were walking in here, a woman from the breakout session, as we were walking in quickly, she said, I just got to tell you this story. And we hear these things all the time by dozens and dozens and dozens. Hers was, for 2 years, I have begged a sister to try to become closer through family history, and she has shut me down and put me out until I introduced her to Relative Race. And she said that completely changed everything. Now she wants to draw closer, and she's interested in doing family research together, and it's healing our family. She goes, I tried for 2 years, Dan, and then she watched Relative Race.
I'd love to hear more of your backstory.
So the question is my backstory and how I got involved in family history. Honestly, so I think that the thing that got me interested in family history was the fact that when I was about 5 years old, my parents produced a movie, and it was on the life of Brigham Young, and I got to act as a pioneer. And so I was in this movie, and I was around all these people all the time on the set that were dressed like pioneers, and we learned all the stuff about pioneers, and it just got me really interested in history. And then my parents, when I became about 11 or 12 years old, my parents were divorced. And I think for me, family history was a way to heal from that divorce, because my family felt really broken, and I felt really lost. And so being able to do family history research and learn more about my ancestors, it helped me have a greater vision of what family really is, and feel a bigger connection to those people, and it really helped me through a difficult time. So then I was at I was at BYU studying and ended up getting married and deciding it was time to have a family. So I didn't finish school at that time. And I had 5 children, and once they were all in school, I went back to BYU and finished my degree in family history and have been working as a professional for about 13 years.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Tristan, what's your favorite discovery?
What's my favorite discovery? My favorite discoveries are finding people's parents. I loved my phone call with Sharon, who is the mother of Maria Clifton in season 5. She is a remarkable woman, and she and I are actually really good friends still. We talk all the time, and I love her, and she was so excited to meet her daughter that was just really rewarding to have that phone call with her. But I think any time that I have the privilege of being able to talk to a parent for the first time, it's usually such a beautiful and really a private experience, to have with that person for the first time. It's just there's nothing like it.
What can fans of Relevant Race do to ensure that it continues? BYU TV is our broadcast partner, and so you reach out to BYU TV in any method that you think is best for you. But you let BYU TV know that you love the show. Let them know that you watch it. Let them know what it means to you. It is, for us, the most satisfying show that we've ever created, we've ever produced in our entire careers. I mean that sincerely. And so we love doing the show. It seems to resonate with the viewers, and we hope BYU TV continues to love the show.